What's going on, party people? 'Tis I, Solomon the Artiste. I feel like when you see this white background, you can usually know that I am in Georgia, which I am. However, I was not very productive this time in Georgia. There's a lot that's been happening. First of all, when I last shot videos out here in Georgia and posted them on YouTube, I had it planned that when I get to New York, I'm gonna continue the process. Like, I find myself constantly doing that. That's what I did in LA. I shot a bunch of videos back to back to back and then posted them day by day by day. And then I just stopped. Then I did the same thing, came to Georgia, shot a bunch of videos, posted them day by day, and just stopped. However, in New York, it was a different ordeal because I just didn't have anywhere to shoot. You know, there was a lot going on in the household out there. And maybe that's what I'll start with. Like, I feel like a lot has happened since I last posted, and I'm not really that dude to, like, most YouTubers, they build a career or create content based on their life or what they're doing or whatever, which I don't find that to be very artistic. It's just life happens, and if you don't have anything else going on, then that's what you film and you put up, you know? And I'm sorry if that sounds any kind of way, but that's just the way I see it necessarily. But at the same time, I guess I can also see the art in that because I do, as a songwriter, write much of what I create is based on what I see, on what I've experienced, on what story I was told by a friend or some random stranger while standing in line for whatever, you know? So I can see both sides or whatever. In any case, I say all of that to say that I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what's been happening in life. So, I had a whole experience. First of all, no, let me stay. I had a whole experience. I had someone staying in my house, a family member. This family member, I don't know what the deal is with them, but what happened is I lived in LA for a bit, and while I was out there, my mother called me and said, "Hey, your cousin needs a place to stay. Do you mind if he stays in your room here for a bit?" Naturally, I'm like, sure, I don't mind. Now, mind you, I didn't really know this cousin like that. I had met him for the first time at a funeral. And so, either way though, and when I say cousin, this is someone who is much older than I am, like twice my age, literally. But he is my cousin. He is my mom's nephew. So, point is, he comes. From what I understand, he's very nice at the beginning, very helpful, yada yada yada. But time is just passing, and then I end up coming back to New York because of the pandemic, and he's just in my room. Now, I don't mind because that was the agreement. You know, I wasn't in New York at the time. Now I'm in New York, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say because I'm here in New York, you gotta figure something out. But at least if you're gonna be here, be a productive human being. Work, get a job, do something. Or if you're trying to figure out your next move as to where you're gonna go, figure that out. But none of that was being done. And I started getting frustrated because then I couldn't do the things I needed to do. I couldn't film any of these YouTube videos. I couldn't do any music like I really needed to. I couldn't record because I didn't have a quiet space in the household out there, you know? And I couldn't pick up and just move here to Georgia because part of my being in New York is that I needed to be of service to my immediate family currently. And that's a whole thing that maybe or maybe I won't get into in another video. But the point is, let's just say I'm being a good son, let's say that, you know? So I finally got to a point where I lost it, and I gave an ultimatum. I said, you're either gonna get yourself a job and pay rent and contribute to the household here. Because I mean, me, in this pandemic, I'm still finding stuff to do. I'm still doing voiceover work for people for cash, doing vocal references for people for cash, you know, doing what I gotta do to make sure that I can still pay my bills and everything. this guy is just sitting, chilling, smoking weed, and just not doing anything. No ambition at all. And I was like, that ain't gonna fly. I can't have my space to do the things I need to do properly because you're in my space. And you don't have the decency to even like front like you looking for a job or something. Nah, I told him, get a job or get out. And I was dead serious. I told him on October 1st, if you don't have a job, I will personally, you either gonna get yourself a job and start paying rent, or you're gonna find somewhere to go. And I will personally put your stuff outside on the curb. I know that sounds harsh, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know that I would necessarily actually do that. But in the moment, I was so angry, I had to say something. And the thing is, even though he's twice my age, he's still able-bodied. He's still a human being who can move and do stuff. So the fact that he was just letting his self and his life dwindle away, it bothered me. And I was like, nah, if you're gonna do that, you ain't gonna do that here. You know, and it sort of worked. It sort of put him in a place where he finally started calling people. Finally, I don't think he really tried to find a job. He tried to make it look like he was finding a job, because then all of a sudden he started talking about an extension. And I'm like, no, there's no extensions. You're gonna do this now or never. And he ended up finding someone who was willing to take him in his original, you know, back in his original hometown. And I hope he doesn't screw that up, because I don't know what his situation is out there. I mean, at least that's in his hometown where he knows everything. He didn't know New York like that. But Florida, that's his hometown. Well, home state. But he's in his hometown out there. I forget exactly where in Florida he lives. But he ended up working something out, and so he was able to go there. By the way, I'm eating not honey buns, pumpkin spice buns, because I saw them as a special limited edition from Pillsbury, and I wanted to try it because I love pumpkin anything. So I say all of that. I'm really trying not to go into heavy detail because I will sound like a god-awful person, which I didn't mean to. It's just that sometimes when you get frustrated and you lose yourself and you're like, I gotta fix this because I'm losing all this money and all this whatever, you know, you get lost in the battle. And that kind of happened to me, but it all worked out, because now he's in a place where he can be comfortable, a place that he knows, a place where a job that he actually wants, that he's actually comfortable doing, is offered to him, and he has a place to live. And now I have my space in New York again, where I can actually film these videos, I can record songs and all that good stuff. I can catch up with myself, basically. So, yeah. Now, currently I'm in Georgia. Because it's so random. I needed to do the backyard of the house out here. Forgive me, I keep looking at the viewfinder. It's a whole thing. So I just realized I'm eating with the butter knife. Again, I don't mean to be sitting here being all gets hell, but you know, like I literally just put this 2 buns on the plate and said I'm gonna come shoot this video. But we had a guy who was taking care of the lawn for us for the past couple of years. The issue with this guy is that he, for some reason, stopped touching the backyard. And then it overgrew, and then we ended up getting a ticket for our grass being too long, because where we live in Georgia, it's a cul-de-sac. It's a rather affluent neighborhood, so to speak. And so they like for everything to look a certain way. So we got a ticket, a huge ticket. And we had to take care of it. And then still had to pay someone to come do the grass. Now when we asked him, he tried to overcharge us when he should have been cutting the grass to begin with. What we realized is that since he knew that no one was in the house as often as they should be here, he would just do the front lawn and let us believe that he was doing the whole yard. And so we were paying for that. So every time we asked him to help to take care of the backyard, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Yeah. I got fed up. I fired him. But this guy, he has this habit where, forgive me y'all, I'm also drinking pumpkin spice coffee. But yeah, he also has this habit where when it comes to the money, he can understand and speak English like nobody's business. But when it comes to the, the work, asking to do this and do that and whatever, his English is scarce, He's some type of Hispanic. I think Mexican, but I don't want to assume, but I know that I'm judging him based off of his accent, But in any case, I fired him and I sent him a long message basically telling him, I don't need your services anymore, and it is what basically I'm not gonna, well, you don't need to know what I said in it, but the point is I sent him the long message telling him I no longer need the services and that you should absolutely not come here and cut the lawn because I will not pay you because you came here and did this unauthorized. Because the thing is, I fired him about a year and he still came back and kept doing the lawn, and I went ahead and I paid him because I said, you know what, I'm not out there right now. I need the lawn to be cut. And it was easier to do that as opposed to trying to find someone to do the lawn out here while I'm still in New York at the time, So this time around, I was like, nah, you're doing too much. Because what I also realized is that he was also charging me to cut the lawn, but he actually wasn't always showing up like he said he was. I can't prove it with, physical evidence, but I know it to be true because, fortunately we've got neighbors who sort of keep an eye out on certain things for us when we're not here. So I sent him the whole message. He didn't respond. And in my head, I said, you know what? We're not gonna play this game. So Google Translate was my best friend at that moment, and I translated my entire text message to him because it was long. I had to be explicit in everything that I was saying to him. And I translated it to Spanish. I sent it to him. And I promise you, like at first he would not respond to that English version, but that Spanish version where he can't say he don't understand. Oh, he understood and he let me know that he understand and he will not come back. So that's that. Now, this is interesting because the backyard looks god awful. It does. The grass is definitely 5 feet tall. I tried to do it myself. That's the reason I came out here. My plan was to come out here and cut the grass on my own and then just pay someone to care it from there. But when really I want to actually move out here and let New York and LA be my sort of go-to place for a month or so at a time to do auditions or to do a job that I may have booked via video audition. Either way, I go out there and I realize very quickly that I cannot handle this grass. And I tried. When grass is that tall, you can't just run a mower over it. You have to cut it down. It's a lot. And it's Georgia, so I'm not in Atlanta, I'm further out. So, the house is huge, the yard is huge, it's just too much. So I finally found something online. I forgot what they're called. I think it's just lawncare.com, but it's sort of like an Uber for lawn care companies. And so the amount of money that they were trying to, that Spanish dude was trying to charge me to fix the backyard that he neglected, which was like $600, these people literally charged me $40. but don't get too excited yet. What ended up happening is that even though I was explicit and I said to the young lady on the phone, the grass is very tall. Are you sure that they're prepared for this? Like, it's not like it's just a little long and needs to be cut down. It's tall. I told her it's between 3 and 5 inches feet tall. And so, it's a lot, and the yard is pretty big. And she said, no, that's their job. They're gonna come and they do it. So finally, the company comes, and I wasn't home at the time. I actually was chilling with my friend in Atlanta, but I get a message through the app, because they have an app, lawncare.com. They have an app where you can, I like it like that. I can make sure, I can decide that I don't want anyone to come do the lawn this week if I feel like it doesn't need any care or anything, and I can save myself some money or whatever. I really like the process. It's very much so Uber or Lyft for lawn care. And so I get the message, and you can also speak to whoever decides to take the job. You can speak to them through the app as well. So she messages me, tells me that she's on on my property. I'm like, cool, thank you. 2 minutes later, I get a message saying the yard is complete, and I'm like, that's definitely impossible. And then 30 seconds after that, I get a message that the company has canceled their service for you, and that they well, here's the thing. The issue I have with that company is that they lied and said that the gates were not open and that they couldn't get in, but at the same time, they took pictures of the yard, in which I understand they probably had to do that, kind of like Uber, where they can't drive off until the person who's canceling the Uber cancels, so that person can't say that the Uber driver showed up and left. She probably had to take pictures to say, this is what it looks like, this is not what I was prepared for. So I understand that, because they told me they could see the pictures on their end when I called about it. But the thing is, she said that she couldn't get through the gates, but I'm like, if you couldn't get through the gates, how were you able to take pictures? And the gates are not locked. And even if the gates were locked, this is Georgia. I literally have a big gap in the gate, which is there. Literally, they do that out here for emergencies in case of, a fire department or whatever has to get into the house from some certain way real quick, or if you're going to use a riding mower, you can fit it through that huge gap. And so, yeah. And then on top of that, a part of that gate actually fell because of some heavy winds. So she had no excuse. Now my thing is, if you just saw the work and decided this isn't for me, I don't want to handle that, that's okay. But just say that's cool, So, but don't lie and make it seem like I didn't do my part. And so I was conflicted, because I was like, I understand her not wanting to do the thing, but the app was still asking me to rate her. And I'm like, well, I don't want to rate her at all because she didn't do any work. But then I thought about it, and my feelings got the best of me, and I said, you know what? You lied and said I did things I didn't do. So I'm giving you a 1 star. I gave her a 1 star. I may have messed up her entire rating, but life happens. I don't feel good about it, but it's real, So Lawn Care another company was willing to take over the work. Now, what I learned is that the first young lady that I spoke to didn't do her part right. What she should have done is explain that I don't need just a regular mowing in my backyard. I need a cleanup. Like, I literally need the grass to be cut low because it's feet long, and a few other things need to be done. Some of the bushes can use some trimming down. It's a lot, but I need a whole cleanup. And my thing is, I'm willing to pay for the cleanup because I need it, and I can't do it because I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have the equipment for it. The money that I would spend on the proper equipment, I might as well just pay someone to do it. And then that way, if I find myself in a place where I need to save some money and just do the lawn myself for some months or something, then I can handle the backyard from that end. You know, I can just buy myself a little lawnmower and mow when I need to. But for now, I'd hate to purchase all the equipment to take care of the backyard as it is one good time and then just have the equipment. And I promise you, the way the backyard looks now, I will never, I keep looking this way because the window's right here. I'm sitting in one of the back rooms of the house. But I will not let it get like that again. It's just not gonna happen. Granted, that wasn't my fault, but still, you know. So, this time when I finally spoke to a second guy, because I had to call and be like, what's going on? He explained to me what was happening, and he set it up for someone else to come and do the lawn. Now, what he did is he set it up for 2 weeks from yesterday. Today is October 15th. So they won't be back until October 28th, 29th. But my thing is, I said to him, well, if one company came and didn't want to deal with what they saw, what about the next company? And he said, oh, they're aware. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I hang up. Later that day, it crossed my mind, am I still being charged for a service I didn't get? So I called again. Got a different young lady this time. And I explained everything that was going on to her. No, I'm lying. I called because someone else called. They called me and I answered, but they couldn't hear me or something. So I called back. She said she didn't see any notes as to why they might have been calling me. But what she said is that basically what she saw, she realized that the first two people, they didn't put it in that I need a cleanup. I explained to her, like, I told the first young lady the grass is at least 3 to 5 feet tall. It's a lot. It's a lot going on back there, and I can't do it myself, and I need help, you know. And so she said, oh, so in that case you need a cleanup. And I'm like, I guess so. I looked on the app to see what a cleanup stands for, and that's exactly what I needed. I need someone to actually go through the process of chopping everything down, cleaning everything up, blowing it to wherever, blowing it from the hard surfaces, you know, chopping down bushes and stuff. I need a whole cleanup. So she scheduled that for me, and fortunately the new company that took over my lawn care services, they do cleanups. And so she suggested that, so she put it in for me to, for them to come and get a quote. That's gonna happen tomorrow. And I don't know what they're gonna charge me. It'd be some kind of mess if they charged me like the $500-600 that you know, the Spanish dude would have charged. But I hope it's not that much. I don't think it'll be that much, to be honest. But even so, I'll still pay it. Because the thing is, with the Spanish dude, he was charging me $50 per service. Whereas through this lawn care service, they're charging me $50 to do both the front and the back. He was only doing the front yard. $50. They're doing the front and the back for $50. And what I also like is that since it's the same company that's going to be taking care of the lawn, that's going to come and do the cleanup, I can trust on the, you know, the weeks that I'm not here that they're going to take care of it properly. Yeah, so I wonder if anyone's going to watch this video. Like, this is literally just me speaking as if I'm talking to a therapist or something, but this is what other YouTubers do. They just talk about what's happening in their lives. But sometimes I think they lie and they just pretty it up so that it seems more interesting. I'm in my early 30s, trying to take care of a house, trying to take care of a family. This is my life. And still trying to pursue my passions of art. This is what you get. If you watch it, thank you. And if you don't, well, you're not seeing this. But you can expect way more videos from me now. I've gotten a lot of things together. you can expect a lot more music videos from me. When I say music, a lot more covers from me, a lot more singing videos from me. Music videos, I'm sort of in a weird place with that now. I think I'm too much of a control freak. I want things to look a certain way. I want to, it's kind of like with Pro Tools. I kept going to producers, going to studios, working when I was much younger, in my late teens. But I could never really get what I want. I could never really get the sound that I wanted. And it was hard for me to work with these producers because even if it's my song, they're telling me what they believe sounds good and what's on the radio and whatnot. But I knew at a young age what my quirks were, what my I knew what I needed. I knew what I liked. I knew what my taste was. And so rather than to keep dealing with these producers who wanted to control me, I got myself the Reason software and learned how to use that and started producing my own music and got myself on the radio, instead of trying to work with these engineers who have their own formula that they use on everybody or mostly use on rappers, because at the time I was working primarily with rapper engineers because it was just way cheaper. I learned how to use Pro Tools so that I could record my own vocals. I listened to the radio and learned how to engineer my own stuff. I listened to what the techniques were I heard on the radio, how much reverb was used, how to mix and match. I did my research and I figured it all out and it worked for me. And so I figure I can do all of that with music video. I've been doing research and realized a DIY music video is very possible, and it does not necessarily have to be tacky, So, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. This video is way longer than I expected, but again, I'm done trying to do that whole keep videos under 10 minutes type thing. I want to talk, I want to share myself to a certain extent. I want to share my art. I want to just do what I want to do on my channel. And if you're watching, thank you. God bless you. Please share, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to come watch. It'll help me a deal. It costs you nothing. And yeah. I actually just filmed a stash video. Let me stop. See, that's what happens. Thoughts come to my mind and I just keep talking. So I'm gonna end this one here, and I'm probably gonna do more videos and you'll see me in the same shirt, and I don't know, maybe I'll get creative and put on a different color. I don't know, we'll see. But either way, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Peace.